Anthony Volpe is finally living up to the hype. Is Aaron Civale a must-add? Join us today where we provide you with the best must-add players from the weekend on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Sports Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominic Martino, here as always with my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, Matthew Ine.
Yo, what's up?
Don't mind my kid. On all social media platforms. Oh, that's little Maggie guys over there. So yeah, don't mind Maggie. She's a part of the Locked On team here. Once again, you can find us on all social media platforms and podcasting apps. If you're listening on one like Apple or Spotify that allows 5-star ratings and reviews, we truly appreciate it if you could do that for us. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit that little bell below. It subscribes to the channel. Also gives you a notification every time we drop a new episode. And lastly, but most importantly, subscribe to us on the Subtext website. On the Subtext website, it's a one-on-one personalized interaction with Matt and I. You get text back as soon as you ask us a question. And also you get updates on when a rookie gets called up, when you get updates on injuries and all that stuff, plus much, much more. Ibotta gives you cash back on hundreds of grocery items from produce to personal care and pantry goods. Right now, Ibotta is offering listeners $5 for just trying Ibotta by downloading the free Ibotta app and using the code MLB. But Locked On Fantasy Baseball fans, as always, we have a fully loaded episode for you today. Let us be your team secret weapon as we provide you with the best players going into Week 14. And Matt, who do we have up first today?
All right, yeah, let's go with Mr. Anthony Volpe. About 51% owned in most leagues on Yahoo. Volpe has turned a corner these last 2 weeks, hitting 366, has 8 runs, a bomb, 2 ribs, 2 stolen bases. Has really been absolutely putrid over the stretch, but this last 2.5 weeks he's been pretty solid and serviceable. So if he's available in your leagues and you need a shortstop, he's somebody I want to take a look at. The upside is there. If you're not familiar with what Volpe could do in 2022 and between AA and AAA, the guy had 50 stolen bases and 21 home runs and 596 at bats, batted about 249. The year before, he had about 33 stolen bases, hit 294, and had 27 home runs and 412 at-bats. So, Volpe has a wide range of outcomes in terms of what I think he'll do for the rest of the season if he does keep this up and kind of turn a corner here for the long term for the second half of the season, is maybe he'll get close to the 20 home run bomb range. He probably will get us 30 stolen bases. I don't think that's in question because the kid just is lightning quick. And maybe he can get his batting average up into the 240, maybe scratch the 250 range, which would mean that second half he's going to have to hit pretty high and pretty well. And if he's turning a corner like we're seeing now, there's a strong possibility. Even tonight as we're recording July 2nd, he's hitting 333 on the night, going 1 for 3. So Volpe is doing his thing, and I think is kind of figuring out the league. It does take some batters longer to figure it out and adjust to big league pitching. So, Volpe has a wide range of upsides, but I think that he's at least worth adding and 100% taking a look at least. All right, and that's my take on Anthony Volpe.
Yeah, Matt, that was very, very good take on Volpe. The only thing I can really say is that, 22 years old, the kid was one of the most highly touted prospects in the league coming into this year. So bear with the kid. And, he was hitting towards the top of the lineup, when he was doing a little bit better at the beginning of the season. So I could fully see, him turning it around and looking a bit better, coming into the second half. But let's move on to another guy that we kind of talked about recently, but I think it's worth talking about him again because he's still only 39% owned, and that's Ezequiel Tovar, shortstop from the Colorado Rockies. And Tovar's numbers on the year are starting to look really, really good with 40 runs, 8 homers, 40 RBIs, 4 steals, and a 270 batting average here for Tovar on the year. I think it's definitely worth take a look at him. He's hitting half of his games in cores. So and then look at his numbers over the last 2 weeks here for Tovar. Over the last 2 weeks, Tovar has 8 runs. He has 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, a steal, 371 batting average. So I think it's time we go out there, give Tovar the chance. He's one of the youngest players in the whole league right now. They're at 21 years old. Give Tovar a look. Another guy that was a highly touted prospect coming into the year. I'm big on Ezequiel Tovar, and I think you should be as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Great take, Dom. I don't think I need to add anything. We've been talking about Tovar for a couple weeks now, so I don't think people want to keep hearing us go on and on about the Tovar love. Let's move on here.
True.
To Mr. Maikel Garcia. He's been having a solid month. I'm liking the stats on the month. 16 runs, 2 bombs, 8 ribs, 9 stolen bases, and batting .289. So the stolen bases off the waiver wire, 100%. Get me excited. The batting the .289 over the last month, that's getting me excited because that follows my rule batting average off the waiver wire. You can't pass up on because through 2 weeks he's hitting about .333. And I mean, quite honestly, at 29% owned, why the hell not? I mean, he's out there, take the shot, see what happens. And, best case scenario, he's not destroying your batting average and he's chipping in stolen bases. Did I say best case? I mean, that's worst case. I apologize. I'm a tongue twister here. And worst case scenario, he does what he did last week. He does what he did 2 weeks ago where he had 7 runs, a bomb, 3 ribs, 4 stolen bases, and batting about 400. Garcia has a wide range of outcomes as well. I like what he's going to put out there, what he could do, and for free 99 at this point, you might as well take a shot on the kid and see where the journey takes you. The second he dies, he says, "See you later."
Yeah, Matt, great take on Garcia there. I think Maikel Garcia, I think he's really going to contribute in 2 categories, which is going to be the steals in the minor leagues. In 2022, he had 39 steals, and in 2021, he had 35 steals. And those years, he hit 291 and 285. So I think the batting average is pretty solid. I think he stays around that 270, 280 mark, maybe probably closer to 270. With the downside of maybe lowest like 260 because the kid can hit. And then the steals are real. Kid's got elite speed. And Matt, that was a great take on Garcia, so I'm not going to, go too much longer here with Garcia. But up next, we got an old veteran who's been around for a long time, and he's still getting it done here. And we have a young kid from Detroit who, hey, maybe it's time that he's finally, doing his thing. And then we actually have a couple of Cleveland Guardians pitchers that you guys need to have on your teams already because we've been talking about them for too long to be this lowly owned still. But guys, it's officially summer, and a new season means new clothes. But your clothes shouldn't be the only thing growing when you make those purchases. Now, you can also watch your cash back grow with each purchase with Ibotta. Ibotta gives you cash back on hundreds of grocery items from produce to personal care to pantry goods and also clothes. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. Either link your loyalty account or upload your receipt after you shop and get your cash back. It's that easy. The average Ibotta user earns $120 back per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, or you can use the cash back to buy that flight you've been eyeing, that game you've been dying to go to, or that fancy dinner you've been craving. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 for just trying Ibotta by using the code MLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app and use code MLB. That's IBOTTA in Google Play or App Store, and make sure you use the code MLB to get your $5. And every day, as a new listeners, we've got exciting news for you regarding our podcast. Matt and I are thrilled to introduce our new campaign on the Subtext website, where we'll be offering a personalized and in-depth experience just for you. By subscribing to Locked On Fantasy Baseball on the Subtext website and becoming a member of the exclusive Everydayers Diamond Club, you'll gain unlimited direct access to us through one-on-one texting conversations. As part of the Diamond Club, you'll receive instant alerts and expert opinions on prospect call-ups, injuries, and detailed waiver wire recommendations. But that's not all. We'll also be promptly answering all of your fantasy baseball questions, and we're here for you to talk baseball with you whenever you want. Subscribing to our subtext service will give you a significant advantage over your competition and greatly increase your chances of winning an everydayers championship. You can find the link to subscribe in the description of this video, podcast, and on our link tree, which is available in all of our social media bios. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Sign up now for a free 14-day trial with Matt and I by your side. We'll make sure you bring home that coveted everydayers championship. Join us on Subtext today. And Matt, why don't you go ahead and grab this next guy, because oh boy, we all know that's a lot of talking for me. I think I don't know if the people still want to hear my voice that much.
I damn sure don't. So we'll keep going.
There you go. I'm sure the fans are in sync with you on that one.
All right, guys, let's talk a little fantasy baseball. Let's talk Andrew McCutchen here. McCutchen has been playing out of his mind this last week with 4 runs, a bomb, 4 ribs, 407. It's funny for old man here. Through every stretch at some point in the season for the last 4 years, he's been serviceable. He's not fantasy gold, but he's been waiver wire gold for a nice stretch. And I believe we're about to hit that stretch now and get him while he's hot. And it's crazy, though, because this year, he already has a nice amount of stats. He has 10 bombs on the year. He has 38 runs, 28 ribs, 9 stolen bases, batting .282 on the year. So McCutchen just is in a groove right now. And I think that, if he's starting to build up off what he did last week and he keeps rolling it through to the All-Star break, we could see a nice little stat, and he might be a league winner next week, just for next week. And we'll see how he plays out. We shall see how Andrew McCutchen plays, but the second he dies off and stops performing, you drop him. But, he's definitely worth an ad at 37% owned. He's a why not, and ride it while it's hot for 100%.
Yeah, Matt, old man River Andrew McCutchen just keeps it running. He's showing you that power. He's showing you that speed. That's why he's, been one of the most consistent fantasy baseball players over the last 10 years or so. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I think it's kind of like a ride the wave thing here with McCutchen and kind of just see where it takes you at this point. We've all, if you watched baseball at all over the past 10 years, Andrew McCutchen, we love him. But Matt, that's great analysis. I don't really have too much to add to that one. So I'm going to keep things pushing here. Let's talk about Spencer Torkelson. Now, Spencer Torkelson is somebody that I think there's a lot of fatigue on at the moment. I think everyone's kind of getting tired of him. He's, only 17% owned on Yahoo. But in those deeper leagues, the 15-mans, the AL onlys, maybe it's time to give him a look. Looks like he's heating up over his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. He's got a hit in all of them. 2 of those are both, 2-hit games. He had a 2-home run game on June 29th against Texas, 4 RBIs in that game. He hit a home run. I think that's today as where, recording this, 2 hits, a home run, 3 runs, 2 RBIs. So Torkelson's been hot of late. And the thing is, with a guy like this, maybe it finally clicks, and it could click in an instant for, a young player like, Torkelson. And his overall numbers on the year aren't atrocious. They're not absolutely horrible. He's got 40 RBIs. He's got 11 home runs, 224 batting average. So I think you give Torkelson a chance at 17% owned in those deeper leagues. If you're in a league that's a little bit shallower, you're in those 12-mans or in those 10-mans, maybe just throw him on the waiver wire, see what happens. He also got 37 runs. I forgot to mention that. I think, like I said, it's time to give Torkelson a look, or if not, at least minimum, keep an eye on Torkelson. He does have that prospect pedigree. He was one of, top 15, 20 prospects a couple years back. So keep an eye on Torkelson.
Yeah, absolutely. I like what he's doing in the short term. He's going to mutilate your batting average, but hey, it is what it is. But great take, Dom.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't even need to add anything. We're going to talk about Mr. Aaron Civale. Move on to some arms. Another one of the Cleveland Cleveland Guardian. Sorry, forced to have it. Cleveland Guardian pitchers that we mentioned here, and he's been great since coming back from the injury. Through 39 innings, he has 2 wins, 33 Ks, 3.18 ERA with a 1.26 WHIP. And for your point leagues, or for anybody that does quality starts, he has 2 quality starts just on the year. I like him a lot. He's he's not a K per 9 guy, and it is what it is. You're starting to see that, but hey, he does get the job done. He is keeping the ERA low. He is getting the wins, and he's doing it tonight too. He's out there. He didn't throw. He went 6 innings deep, but had about 2 Ks, but a 1.5 ERA and a 0.67 whip. Like, I'm loving that right now. Like, I'll take it, especially going into a Sunday matchup right now where I need to get the ERA just to tear a hair down. You know, he's the guy that could be the splitting hair between you having the W in the ERA category or not. Aaron Civale is, not going to blow you away with his numbers, but he is going to be a consistent player each week in and out. And at 39% owned, I feel like that should really be in the 60s and 70s, just based off of how solid and consistent Aaron Civale could be. So 100% go out there and add him.
Yeah, Matt, that's a great take. So I don't have too much to add. I'm just going to add, if you take today's start account into Civale's year-long numbers, he lowered his ERA to a 2.96 and he lowered his WHIP to a 1.18 on the season. If you guys been listening at all, we've ranted about Civale so much. This year he's been in the waiver wire column probably almost more than anybody for significant reasons. And at the end of last year, he had like a 6-7 start stretch where he had that K per 9, which he is capable of. He may not ever get there, but he's capable of it. He can have those big 10 strikeout starts. He has the stuff to do it. At the end of last year, as I mentioned, that stretch, he had like a sub 2 ERA. He had a sub 1 WHIP for like 6-7 starts in a row. So he has shown that upside. I think Civale is definitely worth being on your team. Definitely should be more than 39% owned that he is currently on Yahoo. But Matt, great take. I'm not really going to say much more about him. Let's move on to somebody else. Another Cleveland Guardian pitcher that's been, in the waiver wire column for one too many times. And I could see the reason why he might have been dropped in a couple of leagues. It's Tanner Bibee. And he had a couple of bad starts in a row. He had that start against San Diego where he got lit up in 4 innings, a huge ERA, huge WHIP. And then, he went to Arizona and, another bad, 3 runs, 2 WHIP, and he was really bad. But let's talk about Bibee's last 2 starts. Bibee's last 2 starts, 6 innings, a win, 7 strikeouts, 1 earned, 1.17 WHIP against Milwaukee. Last time out against the Cubs, 5.2 innings, the win, 9 strikeouts, no earned, 0.88 WHIP. He's starting to look good. Numbers on the year are solid. 3.46 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, 65 innings, 67 Ks, 43% owned on Yahoo for Bibee. And guess who he gets next week? Those lowly Kansas City Royals. If you can get past Bobby Witt and, Perez and I guess Maikel Garcia, who's been pretty good, that's it. That's all you really got to be worried about over there. There's nobody else over there that's really hitting. The Italian breakfast is gone. So I think Bibee needs to be at least 70% owned, to be honest with you, because there's so much upside. He has great stuff. He has that great breaking pitch that is almost, between a slider, a curve, like it's not even really a slurve. I wouldn't even really call it a slurve, but I guess kind of like a slurve almost. But, Bibee's just got to be owned. Great stuff. I think even next year, look at Bibee, at the end of your draft, and he's going to be a monster pitcher in the next upcoming few years once he gets that control, a little bit better. That's Tanner Bibee. Got to add him.
Absolutely. Great take, Dom. I love Bibee. Unfortunately, because I needed a manufacturer when I did drop him after his great start the other day. But,
hey, it happens.
You have to do what you have to do to manufacture to win each week and out. So it is what it is, but I'll be looking to scoop up Bibee tomorrow. So, great take. Let's move on. Let's talk about Mr. Bryan Woo. Mr. Woo has been great over his last couple starts through 10 innings. He has a win, 12 Ks, a 0.87 ERA, and a 1.16 WHIP. I love the stats. I love what he's been doing. And even his last, honestly, everything but his first start has been atrocious. Has been great, not atrocious. He had a rough outing. He improved off that. He built off the first Texas start against Texas where he had 27 ERA. He went out to go get a 3.86 ERA against the Angels, then the White Sox at 3.18. Then against the Yankees, gave up nothing. And then up against Washington, who's been like hit or miss. They hit around Philly today. Only a 1.8 ERA. It's wild what Woo has been able to do with 30% owned too. I think he needs to be added at this point. I'm all for adding him at this point. He had a 9K game. He had two 7K games and a 5K game. The kid is looking like, he's going to be able to put up a K per 9. So 100%, I'm really feeling Mr. Woo. And I really think you should go out there and woo your way all the way to the waiver wire and add him.
Yeah, I was feeling the Ric Flair with Bryan Woo, like the woo, the nature boy. I guess we got to start calling Bryan Woo the nature boy with that last name over there. The 23-year-old, he's been pretty good, as Matt mentioned. Not going to read you off the stats. Matt already did that. But, in the minors this year, Woo had 9 starts, 2.05 ERA, 44 innings, 59 Ks. 0.88 whip. So, the nature boy, Bryan Woo, has kind of been showing us he's capable. And I think he's going to keep riding that wave. He gets San Francisco on the 3rd, which is the day you're listening to this. So, unfortunately, that's not really helping you. But let's see who he gets after the All-Star break, because I don't think he's going to pitch again until after the All-Star break. But you know what? If he's a little stash right now, you stash him before he goes out there. He could get Houston, it looks like, but then after that, he might get Detroit. So kind of let's see how things shake out with Seattle's rotation. But I think Bryan Woo at, what is he? I think it was 17%. What is he up to? Jeez, let's see if this wants to load and let me know. Matt, you have his ownership percentage there by any chance?
Mr. Woo?
Did we throw it out there?
Yeah, 30%.
Yeah. Oh, 30% for Bryan Woo. Okay, so that's all we really need to say about Bryan Woo. Give him one last woo for the road. Add him on your teams, and let's move on to the next guy. Let's talk about Emmet Sheehan. Now, Emmet Sheehan is somebody, talked about before we got called up, and if you were a member of the Diamond Club, you got that alert. Probably have him on your team right now, and you're probably feeling pretty good about it. Because over, Emmet Sheehan's first 3 starts, 2.65 ERA, 0.82 whip, 17 innings, 12 Ks. Now, kind of reminds me a little bit of Andrew Abbott. Andrew Abbott's first 3 starts, he looked really, really good, but the Ks weren't there yet. Emmet Sheehan in the minors this year had well over a K per 9. I think that's going to start to adjust, as he, gets used to that big league hitting. He comes out on the 4th of July. He gets the Pirates. The Pirates have been very, very hit or miss of late. They've kind of been, pretty shaky, to be honest with you. Not really a lot of big bats in that lineup. But when they all start to, hit together at the same time, they can be a little bit dangerous. But, Emmet Sheehan at 42% owned. I'm going to run him out there against those Pirates and the leagues I have him in. And I think he can go out there and get it done. His minor league track record is stellar. He's got pretty good stuff. So I think, and the Dodgers always produce great pitchers. So I think Emmet Sheehan is going to be one of those. Give him the shot, at least for this upcoming start against the Pirates. And then if he's good, keep him on your team. If he gets rocked and you feel like, somebody better out there, I wouldn't have a problem dropping him either. But for right now, at least give him one more start.
Yeah, great take, Dom. Everybody keeps asking, what should I do? Should I drop him? Should I, hold on to him? It's all based off on the week. I don't think he has any long-term value. Like Dom said, he's a spot start guy. But, hey, when Sheehan has a great matchup, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to roll him out there. So, definitely take a look at him. Let's move on here. Let's talk about Mr. Josiah Gray. He's been performing pretty well over the last couple starts he's had, through 16 innings. My guy has 2 wins, 20 Ks, a 3.86 ERA with a 1.5 whip, which is a little bit on the high side, but hey, it is what it is. He went out against Philly, went 6 innings deep, got the W, 8 Ks, and the 1.5 ERA and a 1.17 whip, which I love. Then against San Diego, another tough matchup. Got the win, 6 Ks, no earned runs, and a 1.5 whip high. St. Louis knocked him around a bit, and so did Houston. But then again, Atlanta, he handled himself quite well. So Josiah Gray is going out there and at least handling himself against tougher matchups. And he's getting Cincy at home, which is, I like that better because he's not pitching in, Great American Hitter Park. And, I like the matchup. Washington's been playing above board. They play to their competition essentially. So Josiah Gray could go out there and really take advantage, even though they have been hot. We have Ellie De La Cruz in that lineup. You have a whole bunch of other people that are kind of starting to heat up there. But Gray has proven over going out against Philly and the Padres to go handle way better bats than what they have right now. So I don't have any doubt in my mind that he can't go out there and handle the Reds. So 100% you should be adding Josiah Gray at least for next week. He pitches on the 5th, which is Wednesday. So 100% add him. And Josiah Gray.
Yeah, Matt, great take on Josiah Gray. 36% owned. Josiah Gray still is only 25 years old. Let's not forget that. He's still got that, learning curve where he's a young buck and he's got time. Hopefully the last thing to come is that control. The control is what's killing Josiah Gray. He can't really throw strikes consistently. He's putting too many guys on base with his walks. That's why the 1.38 whip exists. But, I'll take the 3.30 ERA. I'll take the, we're under a K per 9. But he's another guy that has the stuff to eventually be a K per 9 guy. So we could see it. Josiah Gray actually made the All-Star game this year. If you didn't see the rosters, every team does get a representative. So I guess, he probably is the best player on the Nationals this year. I got the Nationals gear on. I got to show a little bit of love for the kid. And, kind of like we're talking about Sheehan, I don't know if Josiah Gray is a guy I'm going to throw out there every single time he pitches, but, Matt told you he gets the Cincinnati Reds. They do have, Ellie and Steer and McLean and Friedel. They got a couple of those young bucks that are, starting to do their thing. But I'll take the chance with Josiah Gray against the Reds, especially if I need to throw somebody out there. If you're in a league that runs that short week, which doesn't really make sense to me before the All-Star break to run a short week. It should be an elongated week where you combine the two into each other. But I'm not going to get into all those fantasy baseball semantics with you. But according to me, it should be one long week. But otherwise, Matt, anything else before we wrap things up here, brother? Nice and quick and tight one for you guys today.
No, I'll say this, guys. So this is this key pivotal couple of weeks where this is make or break whether you're going to be able to break into the top 6 and make the playoffs. So if you stay tuned over the next couple of weeks and you really hone in on the guys we're recommending to add, guys we're saying to drop, guys we're saying to trade for and trade sell high on, you might be able to come in and sneak your way into the 6th seed because it's not over till it's over and the fat lady sings. So if you're on that hairy edge, these next couple of weeks, people are probably tuning out and you're probably feeling like you need to, especially with football starting up. If you stay locked in and locked on with us, I promise you're going to be able to sneak into the playoffs and then it's anybody's game. So just seriously stick around. Don't fall off. Just keep watching. We're going to get you to it and we're going to get you in that playoffs and then get you that everydayers championship. So, with that being said, Dom, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, real quick. I do want to chime. We got an extra minute here and, I'm going to play the opposite side of that. So then if you're at the top too, there's been a lot of years where I've been at the top of the pack and I've been, number 1, number 2, number 3 seed, right? And I'm like, whether I go on vacation or whatever it winds up being, and I say, hey, I could take a week off. That's the week that a big name prospect gets called up and you miss it and somebody else gets him and you could have had him. You're not really staying in that baseball mindset, of making the moves you need to make, of making sure your lineup looks right. A guy might get hurt on your team. You might need to, snag somebody else, an injury replacement, which once again, join the Everydayers Diamond Club on Subtext and you'll get those instant alerts when someone gets called up, someone gets hurt, all that stuff. So you'll kind of be way more in sync than your opponents. Just make sure you stay locked on, join the Diamond Club on Subtext, and you'll be good to go heading into, the playoffs here. And don't get too caught up in football. It's not necessarily that time yet. You got time to build up to football. I'd say stay locked on for baseball as the time's being. But you know what, guys? That is all for today. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Thank you to all our everydayers and new listeners for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball your first listen each and every day. And guys, make sure you look out for a new episode tomorrow. We provide you with the best must-add players for your watch list and IL. But until tomorrow, guys, see you.
Peace.